So recall that in the 1920s, the United States rejected the League of Nations and the Treaty of Versailles because they were worried about internationalism. They didn't want to be controlled by other countries. And they returned to what's called isolationism, right? This desire to not be involved in international affairs. And that's true to a certain extent, but not really. Harding and Coolidge, both presidents in the 1920s, so Harding first, Coolidge in 1924, they were referred to as pro-business presidents. In other words, they kind of left the economy up to the business owners, which means we're returning back to that policy of laissez-faire capitalism, which also means that the monopolies are really setting the economic table, which means they want tariffs, which is going to be a problem later. There's also going to be a large amount of union busting, so labor is going to suffer in the 1920s. But this time of a booming economy, or at least it seemed like a time of booming economy, the farmers really suffered. Workers were kind of getting the short end of the stick here. But the economy is booming, so people kind of overlooked it. The problem is in Europe, because the United States is now entering a time of global trade. And while we like to think of isolationism as the United States staying out of other people's affairs, they're economically tied into all of these other countries. And if those countries struggle and fail, the United States is going to struggle and fail. So the United States recognizes that European countries are in trouble. England and France couldn't pay off their war debts. They were relying on German reparations, right? Remember, the Treaty of Versailles made Germany pay about $2 billion in reparations. Now, the United States was owed money by England and France. If they don't get money from Germany, then the British and the French can't pay off their debts to the United States. The United States also needs these European countries in order to trade. So they need these strong economies in Europe. Otherwise, the United States is going to suffer. Enter in the Dawes Plan. Charles Dawes came up with this idea, came up with a plan, got it started. In the Dawes Plan, United States banks would loan money to Germany. They would restructure those reparation payments. Germany would make the reparation payments on time, and then they'd owe the United States banks the money. Germany would pay the reparations to Britain and France. Britain and France would then turn around and use those reparations payments to pay off the debts owed to United States companies. This is kind of a Jenga tower of financial shenanigans. The Dawes Plan is going to work great until it doesn't. In 1929, when the stock market collapse happens, all of a sudden the United States banks and securities don't have the money to loan to Germany, which means the Germans can't make the reparations payments, which means France and Britain can't pay off the United States companies, which means the delicate balance that was the world economy crumbles down.